All right, here we are. We're stuck with each other for a little while, so let's make the best of it. Let's talk about some knives. How about steel will Intrigue knives? What? Yes, these are brand new for 2018. I met with Paulina at the 2018 SHOT Show at the Steel Will booth. She was the woman with the information. And I'll put a link to the video I did at the SHOT Show, so you can see Paulina and these knives in that video. In any case, because I'm going, what's new for 2018? And she goes, hey, we got some new knives just for you, buddy. And the Intrigue comes in several sizes. It comes in a large size. This is the large. That's why I'm messing with it, because I love big knives. And it's a liner lock. And it's on washers. And it's made in China. And it's FRN scales. And it's a D2 steel blade. The F45 Intrigue. I think we got enough screws in there to hold the pocket clip on. But we can go left-handed, so that's handy. Liner lock, what's it like? It closes, it opens. It's not like bearings. It is not like bearings. Okay, it is like a bronze washer. That is what it's like, and that's how it feels. So if you've had the cut jack in either the small or the large, this is the small, you know what it's like to have the bronze washers in a flipper knife from China. It doesn't flip like bearings, okay? It flips like washers. So, in that response, let me just go over here. Oh, here's the smaller one. Intrigue, F45 again. M as in small. Did you know that small starts with an M? You didn't know that? Okay. And backspacers are red. So I believe, I believe that I'm going to stretch and guess that all the black ones, whether they're large or small, have the red backspacers. Because you can get this in gray, and you can also get this in black. But I don't think the black's going to have the blue backspacers. I think regardless of small or large, you are going to get red backspacers with black and blue with gray. I'm guessing. I don't know that for sure, but that's my assumption here. So, detent is different on different knives that I've had from Steel Will, whether I've had the 3.5-inch cut jack, the 3-inch cut jack, the Modus, whatever. Some flip more snappy, some are not as snappy, I have noticed. So it can vary the kind of strength of detent, how long it holds it. And this one, I've had this one now apart 3 different times. And right now I'm trying to figure out why, actually. But in any case, I did. And it's centered. And, the detent action, you know what I did? I think I put it back together, and then something wasn't right with it. And then I think I noticed that this pin hadn't completely set in one side of the scale, so I took it back apart. And then something was not right with I took it back apart to see if I made sure I got the bronze washers on both sides of the pivot, or if one actually fell out somewhere or whatever. So I put it back together again, put a little bit of nano lube on it, and then it's a matter of just adjusting the pivot. You can over tighten these and make it to where you can't even open them if you want. So you've got to back off of this and then find your medium between, making sure there's no blade play, yet making sure you haven't over tightened it. So this one is now behaving quite well. It's pretty good. And this one has always been snappy. But you know what? This is kind of a push to push this closed. I mean, of course they don't drop, because they're washers. But this is a lot more stubborn pushing it closed. Kind of strange, almost like you're pushing closed an assisted opening knife. Not quite, but kind of. You've got jimping on the flipper tab. So, do you have jimping on the flipper tab on this one? Yes, you do. Get on here. Oh, let's talk about this. Hold on. Okay, so these are the boxes that she sent the knives in. So, there you go. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Those are beautiful boxes. The packaging is outstanding. Of course, these are probably in-house. I talked to a guy yesterday that should know, because they're a distributor of these knives, and they said, because they are not out yet, as of March 27th. So, yes, of 2018. So he said mid-April is what to his knowledge, is when these will be available. So another couple weeks. And they should be generally out for sale with, online retailers. So, this is, and I kept thinking, now I'm really going to talk out of my league, but I believe I saw a carbon fiber Italian-made one in their booth. And you know what? I need to go back and look at my own damn SHOT Show video. But I think I did see one. So I'm not talking about that one. This is just going to be, because I don't know if and when that will ever be made. I don't have any information on that. But I would really look forward to getting my hands on one once they become available. But these are a different design, aren't they? So this is kind of fun because this one's still being stubborn. Come on, flip. I got a long story about this one, but I'm not going to tell it. This one went to Sweden and came back. Yeah, it's really strange. Just the most odd stuff happens. In any case, yeah, this is a very different design. So it's very long and slender, this blade is. Very tall grind here. You got a front choil, though. Okay. Can you really go forward? Yeah, you can. And you've got jimping on the top of the blade. Okay. Let's do this real quick, though. Let's get this out of the way. I think it's a 3.5, and if I can look through the camera lens and function, it'd be nice. 3 and between 5/8 and 3/4. So it's, you could call it 3 3/4. And overall, 8.5. So a little over 21, coming up on 21.5 centimeters overall, and 94 millimeters, somewhere in there, for blade length. So it is a good size knife. It's not just a 3.5, it's almost 3 3/4. Let's get you out of here in a minute. And so this one is smaller, much smaller, as you can tell with the two of them sitting together. Yeah, 3 1/4. So it's not 3-inch, it is 3 1/4. And 7 3/8 overall, not quite 7.5. So it's, 18, between 18.5 and 19 centimeters overall. Millimeters should be under 90, well under 90, and it's about 83, 84 millimeter blade. These are pretty light. That's probably the next thing that you might be interested in, is how light are they? And let's put our little portable scale out here, and we're talking grams. 62.1 grams. That's very light. So as we run clear back through ounces, just a little over 2 ounces. That's very light. All right. 2.2 ounces. What's the big one? 2.9. So it's still under 3 ounces. And as we click to grams, it's 82.6. So it's very light. Both these knives are pretty light. Okay, let's get you out of here. And another thing you might be interested in is how fat or thin they are. So 0.45, 0.46 of an inch. So this would be really close to like what the Para 2 might be. It's pretty close to the same here, just for comparison's sake. See what I'm saying? It's almost dead on. The same thickness overall as the Para 2. So it's fairly slender because, you know, things like the grip, they're a lot fatter. A lot fatter. In fact, I couldn't even do it with that micrometer. I'd have to do it with this. See, that's 0.59. This is almost 0.6 of an inch. This is a lot fatter. Okay. These are fairly slender. So 0.45 of an inch, but long, but very light. And there's your standoffs. They're kind of nice. That's kind of cool. Pocket clip, right or left hand. It slides in the pocket. I have carried these. They're not overly stiff pocket clips, and they have enough rise in them to get over your pocket lip, yet they still kind of level out here at the end. So they're not obtuse as far as hot spot. If you feel this to be a hot spot, then you're a lot more sensitive than I am. I don't feel these to be a hot spot. I'm not feeling it really. It's hitting me kind of right in this little crease in here. So no, but different size hands, it's gonna fall in different places. They're sharp, they're D2. Let me see if I can get a piece of paper for you. And I think I did, well, I've already cut with this. I've been opening some boxes and stuff with this. I haven't done anything, I haven't touched the blade other than just cutting things open. So yeah, that's sharp out of the box. And let's try the little guy. I don't think I've cut anything with the little guy. Yeah, it's sharp too. So good there. Good there. See the difference in the size? That's big, isn't it? Now, actually, this ought to look bigger in comparison in the aspect ratio. When you flip them, it's going to look a little bit smaller because we're not straight up and down. The camera's kind of got an angle like that. So it's going to make this one look a little smaller. Shouldn't be too bad, though. Now, how about the paramilitary? I mean, that's kind of a standardized looking knife. So this one's actually a bit bigger than the paramilitary. This is an 8 1/4 inch overall knife. And the blade here is 3.5 at best. So you can see, and if you want to flip it, the para will look bigger, but technically, no, it's a smaller knife. Now, if you want to compare it with this one, obviously, it's a much bigger knife. 7.5 at best, 8 1/4. So you can see, yeah. And yes, the blade is longer. This one, of course, got a gigantically long handle. This is 5-inch handle. It's insane. But, you know, I mean, it's good for your hand. I mean, I get that. This is a great, wonderful, comfortable handle. It's just that it's about as long as handles get out there. So obviously these are not, okay? But can you still get in here? Yeah, you can still get in here. Are the ergos? Let's let you go, girl. Fancy, you're out of here. But even being a small knife, yeah, it fits in the hand. And I don't have tiny hands, that's for sure. Yeah. And this reverse grip feels good too. And you can see that they've got, you know, some contouring here. It's smooth. The fit and finish looks good. Oh, hey, Hope you haven't signed off yet. Here's what the knives look like when they're disassembled, just in case you're interested. You have the bronze washers, of course, on the pivot. Here's the internal blade stop, and it is solid with the blade, so it's not like an individual piece that's going to slide around in there. You can see there's been some weight reduction done here with these liners, steel liners, skeletonized out a bit when needed, when possible, apparently. And you can see that the standoffs here are here. This one is down here. Now, when I disassembled, and here's the smaller one, and you'll notice as well, same thing here. Look at the standoffs. This one's on this side, these are on this. Now, when I disassemble the knife, I try and disassemble it from usually the back side. But when you unscrew some screws, they're the screws on both sides of your knife, here and here. So when you unscrew one of these screws, this may just turn, and this may turn because this is screwed into this standoff as well. So the whole thing and the standoff and the screw on the other side might all just turn together. So you got to put a number 6 in here, hold it, then turn this to break it loose. But as you unscrew this, actually, this one might actually unscrew out of the standoff on this side, you know, and this one may stay into the standoff. Even though you're turning it, you're just unscrewing this screw out because you're holding that one steady with another, you know. So I didn't care as long as one screw or the other on either side came out. So then I could pull it apart. So I wasn't getting particular about it, but you know how these things can do. You can turn the whole standoff around and the other side screw, so you got to stabilize that. But once you do, if this one tends to want to unscrew easier than this one, then so be it. I mean, I don't care. But I was just telling you, that's why these standoffs look, you know, one on this side, 2 on that. Yeah, just pull it apart. I mean, I don't care. And I wasn't going to take the other screws out to have 6 screws laying there. No point. I just wanted to make sure I got the knife apart so you could get a picture of the internals. In any case, same here with these. There's no magic here. It's an internal blade stop. It's and skeletonized scale, liners, standoffs. Don't know if these are aluminum. I'm assuming that they are, but I don't know that for sure. If they're coated steel or if they're aluminum. If I had to guess, I'd guess aluminum. But I didn't have any problems. I mean, no problems with the hardware, like strip screws or anything like that. That was not the issue at all. It was just, you know, which side's going to unscrew easier. I didn't take the pocket clip off because it has nothing to do with assembly or disassembly of the knife in general. This is just a pin that fits in both of these liners here. So that just fits together. The pocket clip has nothing to do with that either. So, but yeah, I mean, this is a little bit more snappy, and I don't know that the smaller one necessarily is going to be that way in the way it deploys or not. It might or it might not. These, I think the amount of detent may depend on nothing more than just chance. So you may get something. I mean, I know I've had a lot of cut jacks come and go and a lot of Moduses come and go. And yes, I've seen a lot of variation there. So that's one thing. Be aware that can possibly happen. They're sharp. They're slender. They're an interesting. Design, I think. They're definitely ones where you can do piercing, where, you know, this kind of style. Oh, let me get you out here, buddy. You've been waiting. So this is one with bearings, made in Italy, with M390 steel. I'll tell you what. So when you do this one, yeah, you get a drop because you got bearings, and it's nice, and it's a whole different feel, you know, than these. These are not the same, you know? They just are not, because they're washers, and, you know, G10 as opposed to FRN, but these are so much less expensive. These are $150. And it's one, I just love this knife. I absolutely, yes, I do. And so the Italian-made versions, I actually like this better than the Italian-made Modus, because this has full steel liners where the Modus doesn't. So that always kind of confused me. I wondered why they didn't do that on that top scale of the Modus, but they didn't. So I wasn't that crazy about the Italian-made Modus that much, except we're going to get the carbon fiber one come in a few days. So that should be a blast. Really looking forward to that. Any case, the Intrigue, light, long, more piercing, good slicing. Of course, you know, you got a contact patch that depends on what you're doing here because you have, you know, you got a flipper tab to deal with. So, obviously. Comfortable in the hand. Fairly slender this way, though. There's not much there as far as that's concerned. So, you know, when you get into these, see, 0.77 of an inch comes out to a swell of about 1 inch right there. Almost dead on. Okay, so this is a much more slender knife. Although, you know, coming into this, this is 0.82, so this is even fatter. And then out to about 1, maybe a little over. Okay, but this is the small, so that would compare more with this. You can tell, you know, taller blade, taller handle. This is going to be not necessarily thinner overall, because you know what? I didn't measure this, but that might be interesting. Yeah, it's about the same. So as far as how slender they are, about the same. As far as thickness there. But as far as tall blade and front to back real estate in the pocket, this would be less. And this is 3.2. This is 3 inch. See that difference in the 3 inch cut jack and the Intrigue, the small Intrigue? Yeah, bigger knife. Interesting. Don't know about the blade stock, but I would think they'd be about the same. 0.117 of an inch. 3 millimeters. Let's see what the blade stock is on the cut jack. 3 millimeters. Big Intrigue. Maybe a little heavier. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's just not a straight 3. But it's 3.2. Okay, maybe a little bit heavier blade stock. Don't look that much, does it? Yeah, it does. Just a tad. Just a little bit. So, interesting there. Just think the steel well. But you know what? Another thing. Wow, what a market. There are so many budget knives out there. So many. I mean, you got the rake, you got the real steel, you've got, of course, Kaiser is in the marketplace with, you know, what they do with the Tangram and also with the Vanguard series knives, that kind of thing, and so many other knives out there. And of course, Ontario Knife Company with the Rat and all that kind of stuff. So you got D2, but can you get a Rat or a... And I was going to, let me see. Yeah, so, you know, there are other things. I don't kind of want to mess your mind up necessarily, but, you know, just look, Ontario Rat, D2, there's $39, $40, basically. So, you know, and then the SE, the Zancudo, which is a smaller one. So there's $35, and that's D2. So you could kind of, oh my God. That was different. And then that kind of a Vespa, which is also an SE knife, and that's D2. And that's, it's around the $35, $40 range. So there are a lot of choices out there. This would have to be something that it's like the lightness, the liner lock, the blade shape, the overall design, that kind of thing, that might appeal to you. And yes, I appreciate these knives coming from Paulina at Steel Will. For me to take a look-see and get a preview of, which is really nice. And I've had some guys say, oh, those are cool. So put them on Instagram. People have reacted pretty positively towards them. Some people are not in love with the FRN. That's just one of those things that kind of, there's different materials. This super light Manix type thing, that's not G10. And traditionally, this is, but some of the, grips have not been either. So, yeah, it's a different world. There's different types of materials out there. So, it just depends. This makes it very light. But you got the steel liners. There's lots of choices out there, though. This is a crazy one. I don't think I'd want to be a knife manufacturer in the middle of what's going on right now, because there are so many choices. But you know what? You're the winner, right? You and me, as consumers, we're the winner on these things. Let me see if I can kick the whole stand over, like right onto Flanagan. We can end with a big crash. No? Okay, Flanagan, are you okay? Okay. Never mind. Take care. Hey, you know what we do around here. We love them knives, so stay sharp, my friends.